Some of you may be asking, whatever happened to that ERTL pump-action shotgun you found at a Goodwill for $2? Well, I'm pleased to announce that I have finally, sort of, finished it. Well, I kind of mentioned that the internals on it were not in the best of shape, and this is true. The plunger head was snapped off, everything was pretty grimy inside, and it wasn't in the best of conditions. But what can you hope when you find a blaster like this at a Goodwill? That being said, Venom 213 made a complete internals replacement kit for it. That is a completely new pump action arm, complete trigger, complete plunger tube assembly, and a complete plunger itself. All of that together in one kit, and it cost me $36 shipped. Not too bad. So $2 for the blaster, $36 for the kit, and what did I get out of it? Well, I got this. Let's start with the external features. We've got ourselves a polycarbonate trigger, a very thick one. It's not going to break anytime soon. When I got this, it was extremely rough. I mean, if I was expecting him to hand sand everything and make it all pretty, I would expect to pay a lot more. But, you know, a little bit of work, got it nice and pretty. And then up at the front here, you can see there is a coupler in there. And there is a screw running through that coupler. One criticism I have for Venom is that none of his stuff comes with like a guide, and I couldn't really find a guide on what I was going to do with this thing. How do I install the internals? I had to take a best guess, and well, one of the videos I found, somebody said, well, there's two screws. You could either put one screw through the entire plunger tube assembly or put one in on each side, and I chose to go through with the one that went through the entire plunger assembly. But of course, that means holes, and holes leak air, and that's not exactly the best thing. Also, it adds a little bit of dead space, but it's not that much in all honesty. So, originally when I finished this thing, it wasn't shooting all that well, which was extremely disappointing. It was shooting, like, elite ranges. I mean, that's not too bad, but still. And, well, I spent a lot of time filling in holes with glue, and I managed to get it shooting pretty decently. Before I actually shoot it, we will test the plunger seal. This right here is a barrel off of my failed AirTech 3000 I was building. I already had the PET-G with the brass installed, so all I did was I took a piece of PVC and, yep, got it all nice and so it will fit in there. And if I put my hand on this end and I keep that priming handle back, you can see the seal's not perfect, but it's definitely workable, and that is a problem with this. When I prime that back, that will flop, and if you stop it halfway or something, not only is it going to hurt, but it's going to hurt your ranges, so not the best. But this whole screw through the entire front of the assembly here means this thing is rock solid. I'll dry fire that all day, and there's a K26 in here, so it is absolutely powerful. So, why don't we kind of fire it? We've got this. We take this, we twist that in there. The fit is rather tight. We put that in there. We tilt this up ever so gently at the cardboard. And it's not apparent, but trust me, it does hit harder than like an Orange ModWorks kit installed Elite Alpha Trooper. I managed to have this thing clear from my driveway into across the street and into the neighbor's yard. And that's outside, and that's like almost the entirety of Dart Wars right there. So I was quite pleased. Now, it's not meant to shoot elite darts, which is a shame, because that's pretty much all I have access to, especially when I go to Dart Wars. I have a couple of ideas. If I can get it to shoot Boomco darts, that would be better, although I don't know how that's going to pan out. And if I can get it to shoot stickies, that would be even better, but I have a feeling there's just not enough airflow coming from this thing. Steffens would be preferable, because this thing will just rocket Steffens all day. It don't matter. One thing I did do cosmetically to it, you might notice this, is that I went over the entire thing with, and it's a little scratched up because I've been kind of rocking the last couple of days playing around with it, but I went over the entirety of the blaster with, I think it was 600, 800 grit sandpaper to kind of dull it up. And this did a few things. One, it actually kind of looks like metal now. It doesn't look like a shiny piece of crap. And two, it hides a lot of the imperfections that were on the blaster from it being mistreated before. And texture is something that's pretty important when you're making, you know, when you're painting your blasters and stuff like that. You really don't want everything to be super glossy unless you're going with like a sci-fi look. Or, in this case, like a chrome look. That would also be applicable. But it doesn't really look all that good when all your blasters are super glossy. So keep in mind, if you paint something that looks like crap, cover it with a matte clear coat and you might think better about it. But that's enough harping from me, from what I've got right here. I am quite pleased, and if you can think of a good use for it right now, let me know in the comments below. Because right now, it's not really doing much but collect dust. I might take it to Dart Wars for fun, but I don't think, you know, single loading these things and having them spiral around like I've got some kind of crazy Contra weapon is going to help me. But hey, I love it. I'm quite pleased with it. For 38 bucks, I'm not going to complain. You have yourself a great day.